Hello everyone! It has now been over a year since Seth's video has dragged Starsector into the limelight, exposing it to millions of gamers, myself included. Since then, the game has received some updates, but none more important than the updates to Nexerelin, the 4X Mega Mod. Now you might be saying, this is a bold claim! How are the updates to a mod more important than the updates to the game itself? Sure, Nexerelin adds faction warfare, diplomacy, AI colonization, mining, alliances, agents, rebellions, and much more. But how much more could there possibly be? Well, while in the last year the base game added some much needed features, like being able to respec skills, improved bounties, more story and customization options, as well as some features ripped from Nexerelin, like basic diplomacy and targeted raids. Nexerelin has added some major updates to operatives, bounties, requisition fleets, tribute, and aid, as well as some balance changes to mining, rebellions, and sector generation. However, the biggest change of all, and what you are all probably waiting for, is the new and improved invasion and ground combat system. Combat! Now invasions happen in real time as you and the garrison commander strategically fight over industries, population centers, and buildings using marines, tanks, militia, bombardments, and some other abilities. Combat starts with you in space, with your marines and tanks, and the planet in total control of the garrison. But don't worry, that's what you're here to fix. You can organize your people into units of various sizes and deploy them on the planet for a small supply cost, as well as decide where you will bombard if any of your ships have such a module. As soon as you deploy to an industry, conflict starts, with the victor of the industry being whoever is still standing at the end, with turns being resolved at the end of every day. Note, this does not mean the conflict is over in a day, just that units fight and both sides gain movement points, can deploy, and can use other abilities every single day until a definite victor is decided. In addition, every unit has both health and morale. If either of these go to zero, a unit will be destroyed. But even if morale gets low, you will be in trouble, as the unit can flee, refuse to move, or start falling apart. This goes doubly so for the defenders, and units can lose morale from losing battles, losing units, and losing industries. As such, I usually find the best strategy is to target one or two industries, then move your troops around from there to keep the opponent's morale low. Fighting will continue until you run out of supplies or units, or until you have seized all the industries from the defender. You and your opponent can move your units around the map using movement points that are restored each turn. This is why it's usually better to storm one industry at a time and overwhelm it, because you don't really have too many movement points to do much else. There are also 3 abilities you and your opponent can use: Fireteam, Inspire, and Electronic Warfare. My general advice is to use Fireteam and Electronic Warfare as soon as possible to help get the snowball rolling on your victory. As for Inspire, it costs a story point and increases your unit's morale. You only really need to use this if you've lost an industry or if your units are going to run due to low morale. In general, it's fine not to use it in combat, but go ahead and use it if you need to. Some extra advice is to make sure you bring a lot of supplies, as there is a supply cost to deploy units. Military districts have increased defenses, and you can't use abilities like Fireteam on them, so make sure you overwhelm them with firepower when you try to take them. I usually try to take them last, as the AI will move out their garrison to reinforce other areas, letting you take the military bases later with ease. Tanks, which is just heavy equipment crewed by 2 marines, are crazy good, but can only be used effectively on planets, not stations, so bring them or don't bring them accordingly. Lastly, most things have tooltips, so if you have an issue, mouse around for info, and you can usually find an answer. If that doesn't work, feel free to post a question to this video, and I'll get to it. Other changes! Now we'll breeze through some other changes. Rebellions now pack much more of a punch and impact the markets a lot more. The max time for Rebellion went from 6 months to 2 years. Combat damage per turn is reduced by 33%, so Rebellions last a lot longer. Industry disruption is much more likely to succeed, and it lasts longer on average. The max went from 90 to 120 days. And now also there's half the effect of delivering arms to the government, but full effect of delivering arms to the rebels. Also, there is added recruitable mercenaries from markets. You just go to the bar. You can also pirate bases bounties are now doubled compared to vanilla. Agents now can spend story points to prevent failure, detection, or both. Changed AI colonies to grow faster, but now their size caps at 6 instead of 10, just like the players. There is an added quest that grants a remnant contact with a distinct set of missions. On a random sector game start, you can now speed up to 4 industries on your starting planet. There's also an added skip story option to a new game, which marks all the academy quests as complete and grants gate travel. And now response fleets will appear when a player takes military action against a market, but it requires a patrol HQ, a military base, or a high command. Players can now also request colony fleets and send them to any surveyed planet. They added a rare type of high-level military bounty, and also added the monstrous diplomacy trait, which drastically hurts diplomatic reputation. I read about a 1/6 to a 10th of the change logs from the last year in this video, so really if you guys want to read more things in more detail, feel free. If you want, I can actually just link all the change logs below. But yeah, that's all that. Now we can move on to the final matter. As you can see, Nexerelin, the already superlative mod, keeps getting even better. Can't wait to see if they integrate the Rebellion and Ground Combat system. With all of these updates and continued support, it's no wonder that Nexerelin updates have more impact than the once a year or less Starsector updates. Anyway, my new schedule is I will release a video on the 7th or before each month. And if you guys have any topics you want me to talk about, let me know. I really want to reach 100 that was supposed to say 1,000 subscribers. So for my sake, please like, comment, and smash that subscribe button. Signing off.